Hi FlossTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Robin and this is my channel, Lady Robins. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here and joining me on my cross-stitch journey. And if you're a returning friend and subscriber, welcome back. I'm also happy to have you here with me as well. If you're at all interested, I'm also on Instagram, same handle, Lady Robins. If you want to follow me in two platforms, there you go. That's where you can find me. It is, what day is it? It is Tuesday. It is the 7th of February. By the time I get this uploaded, it might be Wednesday when you see it. We'll just see how quick the internet is here at the homestead. So I have got myself a little beverage. I have got hot apple spiced cider in my mug, and this mug is the Alaska mug, and you can see I've already had a couple of drinks with the lipstick on there. It has been a little bit of time since I've had the opportunity to come and talk to you about my stitching and all things stitchy goodness, so I appreciate you putting up with my inconsistent filming, but hopefully I will settle into a pattern here in 2023 before too long. I ended up on jury duty, so I had almost 2 weeks of jury duty, and so that just completely threw everything off. My normal midweek days off were sucked up sitting in a jury box. So we finished this morning. We are done. I've got to say, it was an interesting experience. I would not hesitate to do jury duty again. It was well organized. It was thoughtful. It wasn't a great case. It was kind of a yucky content topic, I guess I should say. I'm not going to go into that here. It was not fun to listen to the testimony. However, I do feel like it was worthwhile. It was worth my time to do that. So I know that everybody's like, oh, you got to get out of jury duty. Get out, get out, get out. I would say if you've never done it, you might want to experience it. It is something I have never experienced before. The only other time I got called for jury and got close, they were starting to seat the jury in the jury box, and then it was time for lunch, and when we came back, they're like, you're all dismissed, we got a plea. So anyway, that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. So I have really needed my stitching to get me through that content. So I thought it would be fun to go over my January stats. I don't usually do that, but I thought, gosh, this might be a good thing for me to remember how I'm doing, how my stitching is going. So I thought I'm just consulting my book of days here, and tell you what I got done in January. So I highlight if it's a something, right? So if I have a new start, I highlight it in yellow. And I actually had 4 new starts in January. Yeah, 4 of them. So that was more than normal for me, I think, but maybe as I go through the months, if I keep track of this, I'll find out maybe that's not so unusual. I did have 3 FOs, 3 finished objects, and FOs are in pink. And beyond that, I had 2 FFOs, which I was really excited to have FFOs on my calendar, because I'm not a very prolific FFOer, but I'm trying to change that in 2023 because I stitch the stuff because I like it, so it would also be great to have it up and around my house. So I am trying to make just a slight tweak to my stitching habit to include a day of FFOing, and that you can see down here. I actually had a weekend where I worked on two things and I got them both done, and I will show those to you in a minute. And then the last stat I decided to keep just because why not, right? I write it on my calendar so I can highlight it. And in blue, I highlight when I have done a floss tube. And so I actually did 3 floss tubes in January. So I thought those were pretty good stats. I liked doing that. I thought it was really fun. Let's see here. I'm gonna try not to say after every sentence, because I noticed that when I was editing my last video that I do that quite a bit. It's kind of annoying, so hold my feet to the fire on that, friends, because that is not a habit I want to fall into. All right, the next thing, should we talk about my FFOs, my 2 FFOs for January? I've got them right here. I'm really thrilled that I got these finished. The first one is one that has been hanging around forever because I was afraid of doing it. Straight up, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, like I'm on a court, sitting in the court in the jury box, totally honest. I was afraid to do it. I didn't think I could do it, and I almost sent it out to be finished for me. And then I thought, if I goof it up, it's just floss, so I can undo what I did and then I can send it out. So let's just give it a try and see how it goes. I finished it. I got it done. So, whew, rocked the camera. Sorry there. I finally fully finished a Waffle Lot, this cute pattern by Hands On Design. And I was looking in my my stitching journal, which I love this thing. It's by Chris Yo if you need one. And what I found out, I'm gonna flip it open here real quick so I can give you the deets here. There it is. So I started stitching this. It was actually a Sal with Michelle Bendy Stitchy way back in 2021. So I started stitching it in February of 2021, quite a while ago. I did not get everything finished on the stitching until March of 2022, okay? So it's been riding around in the craft room since March last year. Tells you how long it took me. So there were 3 things to stitch on this guy. You had to stitch the front, and of course the back, and this band. And I was so worried that maybe I miscounted and the band wouldn't fit right, and I just had way more anxiety about finishing this than I needed to. What I did was I watched the tutorial by Helen D. She had a tutorial, I think she did, was it the meow stitch by Hands On Design, and finished into this same sort of, I think they call it a mattress finish. And so I watched her tutorial, and Helen, thank you very much. You gave me the confidence to at least try it. And in the end, I was able to do it. And I'm kind of proud of myself because I really didn't think I could do it. I had no confidence in my ability to do this. What is really interesting about this, and if you guys have done these, you do a back stitch all along, each of the 3 pieces, and then that back stitch is what you whip around until you get it all done. It took me all day to do it. I am a very slow stitcher. Hand stitching, cross stitching, I'm just not very speedy, but I was able to finish it. I stuffed it with a little polyfill. That's what I've got. and it's ready for Valentine's Day. So I'm really super excited on how this finished up. It turned out great. If you need to finish one of these, I would say go check out Helen D's tutorial. And I think Vonna Pfeiffer also has a tutorial on finishing one of these. And there are really good directions on the Hands-On Design website. But I just wanted the video. I just wanted to see somebody doing it in person. It worked out great. So that's my first finish. I'm really happy with how it looks. The next thing that I did, I'm reaching over as I always do, to get to the chart. I finished Welcome Winter by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and I think the chart is right here. So that's the chart, and here is my FFO on this little guy. And I didn't do anything fancy in terms of materials. I used all the call for floss. I stitched it 2/2, and I believe this is a 32 count, either platinum or mushroom Lugana. Nothing super fancy. I pulled some fabric out of my stash. I don't have a huge fabric stash, but I thought, yeah, those kind of look like little snowflakes to me. So I thought that would work. And then I polished it off with some Lady Dot mini pom-pom trim. And that I just hand stitched around the edge. And so this is my second finish for January. And I am really, really happy with how this turned out as well. So two little FFOs. I think I'm getting a little more confident. So it was great. I didn't spend a lot of time in terms of constructing the pillow. It was pretty quick, because now I know that I like to leave about a 1/2 inch all the way around, and so then I tack on a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I trim it with 3/4 inch, and then once I've got that trimmed, then I make a matching piece of backing fabric. So the backing fabric is the same size as the cross-stitched piece. Then I leave myself about 2 inches on the bottom, stuff it full of polyfill, and away I go. And then I added a little decorative pom-poms. So yeah, turned out great. I was very, very happy with those two finishes. So those are out sitting in my house right now, and I'm just having a good time enjoying them as I walk through the house. So one of the things I do wish I had was a few more Valentine's themed pieces. So that's probably going to be on my list of things to work on this year. But I do have a WIP that I want to show you that is a Valentine's themed piece that I'm working on. So we're just going to change gears here real quick. I was given this Mill Hill kit by my oldest niece, Amelia. And if you're watching, hi Amelia. And anyway, I got the barest of a start going on this last year, and I thought, you know what? I don't think I'll get it done in time for Valentine's Day, but I remembered this was in my stash, so I have pulled this out, and I'm just planning on working on this throughout February. And if I don't get it completely done in February, that's okay. I'll just keep going, because that is going to be super cute and it's fun to stitch on. So I don't do a lot of Mill Hill, and I don't know why. So maybe this will have inspired me to do a few more Mill Hill kits. So yeah, it's called Valentine Heart. Yeah. So once I get that done, I'll have 2 Valentine theme things for around my house next year. And then I just saw, what was it? I think it was Silver Creek Samplers. Yes, Silver Creek Samplers. If you're not on their their new Facebook group. I think it's Stitchers of Silver Creek Samplers. I think that's what it is. She has released a freebie for Valentine's Day. It's just adorable. It's in her fabulous font, and it says "Do Everything with Love." It's really super cute. I've seen a couple people already having stitched and finished it. People are speedier than me. That is one that I would really like to stitch as well. So I've got a couple Valentine's things on my radar. Like I said, they won't be done this year, but maybe I can get them done for next year. That would be super fun. So there is one of my WIPs. Let's see here. What else should we talk about? How about WIPGO? I did great on WIPGO in January. And so I thought I would just show you where I got to. So the two WIPGO calls for me were Coverlet Houses by the Scarlet House. And I know you guys, if you're around here, you've seen this over and over again, but here's our chart, and I am doing the top colorway. So when I pulled this guy out of the bag, I hadn't stitched on this. I don't think I stitched on it at all last year. I had kind of the rust color done, and I did all of this beige in January. So I was having a really great time working on this on my WIPGO, for my WIPGO call in January. And in case you're new here, what I am doing for WIPGO is I have picked out 5 pieces that I'd really like to get significant progress on in 2023. So instead of filling up my WIPGO board with a different WIP in every column, and it's occurring to me that I actually have this printed out so I can show you. I have picked the 5 pieces, and I have just put them in 5 columns. And so each piece is going to be called 5 times throughout the year, which is super fun. So in January, it was Coverlet Houses, and I've got four more sessions on that, which I think will definitely move me significantly along on that project. And then the other one, pardon the zipper, that I'm working on is Cardinal Points. And I've got that over here. And Cardinal Points was called again for February. So I'm working on it right away. If you haven't seen this before, this is by Long Dog Samplers. It is a beautiful chart, really colorful, lots of gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous Gentle Arts threads. It's charted all in Gentle Arts. And when I picked this up in January, let's see if I can show you here. I was probably right around here. So I got all the way across. This is the edge of the chart, of the design. So I got all of this filled in, and I was working on it last night. I got this flower finished. Tonight I'm gonna work over here and do the matching flower. And then I think, so this is kind of a box, and I think I'm gonna try to run down the side and get that stitching along the edge done. So yeah, making some really good progress on Cardinal Points. I am really happy with that. And this is, for me, it's so much fun. And it's because of all of the bright, happy, cheery colors. That's why this piece is so much fun for me. So I get more time in February on Cardinal Points. So I'm happy with that. The other things that I have stitched on since last I saw you, I am still working on the 12 Days of Christmas Stockings from Annie Bees. And I had a question from a viewer on my last floss tube when I mentioned in my video 25/7. So in case 25/7 is a new concept to you, 25/7 means you will pick out one piece you want to make progress on, and you're going to stitch on it 7 days a week. And then you decide what the 25 means for you. 25 minutes or 25 stitches. You pick whatever works in your life. So my 25/7 piece for last time was the 3 French hens. Is that right? No. 3 calling birds. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 3 calling birds. No. 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 3 French hens, 3 French hens. You guys, my head is saying naughty words. If you saw my last floss tube, you know, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about, go watch the last one where I confessed to being a bit of a stinker. So anyway, this is done. I have got number 3 done, and I've started on number 4. I will tell you, however, I don't have, I probably should have this probably should be done, is what I'm trying to say. Words are hard. But because of jury duty, I had a few days where I didn't stitch at all, just 0 stitching, not even my 25/7. So this is where I'm at on the 4 calling birds. So I'm working on it. I'm getting there because I've got all 12 patterns. I really want all 12 of them done by the end of the year. And I think doing 25/7 is absolutely an attainable goal. So I hope that explained 25/7. There is a hashtag that we created, was it last year? Yeah, I think it was last year. So if I remember, I will try to put in the 25/7 hashtag for Instagram right here in the video. And feel free to use that. Put it in your Instagram posts so I can see how people are doing. I'd even forgotten about the hashtag until I started doing this. And then I'm like, hey, wait a minute, there's a hashtag I'm supposed to be using, and I'd forgotten. So just, you know, if you want to, it's all for fun, just so we can keep each other encouraged. Let's see here. So 25/7, I've done my whips. Oh, I had a finish on one of my Prairie Schooler button up little mini pieces. So let me show you that. It's this chart, and I am using a color conversion by Callie Heiko, and we're changing the reds to kind of an icicle blue and then a different green. So I have the first one of these little guys done. I was all set to turn this into a pillow. The day that I did the Welcome Winter, I was going to do this one also. I could not really find a piece of fabric in my stash that worked with that blue. So I did go out to Michael's and Joann's to see if I could find a fabric. It's the wrong time of year to be looking for kind of Christmas snowflake icicle fabric. So I've decided I'm going to press pause on this, and if at the end of the year I want to start stitching up a few more of those, I'll break it back out. But I think for now I'm pressing pause on Button Up. And it's not that I don't like it, it's just that I've got other things that are kind of on my radar that I want to get done first. So button up is going to be shelved for just a little bit here. Oh, the other WIP that I worked on, and I need to get some time in on this as well, is my February Snowflower Diary. I have got kind of the center part of the design done. And that is from, what is that? Well, it's from the Snowflower Diary. This is actually called Joyful World. I forget that almost every time. But so I still need to do the border all the way around it. So that is also coming up for me in terms of things I want to stitch here in February. And I'll get it done. I'll get it done here pretty quick. I have made a lot of personalizations on this piece. I don't know what my problem is. So down here in this border, I reversed those two greens. You know, the light green is supposed to be on the top and the dark green is supposed to be kind of the little peaks. Nope, did that backwards. The little flowers here, I changed out the bottom leaves on the flowers. I did not like what she had picked. So I went with something that I felt worked a little better for my aesthetic. And then the cheek on this mallard duck, I changed to match the bottom on the flowers. And I like it. I think it works fine. So I just have to do the border all the way around, and then that will be an FFO. And since I have, it'll be an FO, and then the FFOing will be not so bad because I have already done 8 of these. So I know how to do these without much thought. So finish up the February Snowflower Diaries, and then I think the next 2, then I just have 2 more and I'm completely finished with this series. I know that the December one I haven't done, and I think the other one is September. So I'm going to push pause also on Snowflower Diaries until maybe August, and then get that September one, I think it's September, one done, and that'll be great too. All right, what else do we need to talk about? How about FlossTube? Let's talk about FlossTube. I have watched a couple new FlossTubers, new to me and new to the community. So let's talk about that, shall we? The 2 that I wanted to call out are Stitchy Nurse Mama. She is delightful. She now has 2 FlossTube videos out, and I love what she's stitching on. And she has just kind of a bright personality. I really enjoyed her first FlossTube. I noticed a second one came up just the other day, and I need to sit down and watch that. So I would highly recommend Stitchy Nurse Mama. The other FlossTube, the other new FlossTube is Antique Needleworkers. It's 2 gals, and I can't remember their names. They're also really fun. They are they're just fun. They're just fun. I loved listening to them talk back and forth. I think those 2 channels are worth your time and effort. So go watch Stitchy Nurse Mama and Antique Needleworkers. I think you'll enjoy them. I had a couple of requests from you, my faithful viewers. I had asked if you would be at all interested in a kitted up parade after I did my WIP parade, you know, about 4 weeks ago. And I had a number of you say that yes, you would be interested in a kitted up parade, things that I have kitted up that I want to stitch. So I haven't forgotten. I just want you to know I have not forgotten. It's just that again, I'm going to pull out the jury duty card, got in the way of me being able to do that. So I do have plans of doing that for you shortly. The other thing I asked you on a FlossTube is if you would be interested in a book flip through on a couple of new books that I have picked up, and I did get yeah, go ahead and do it. I'd love to see a flip through on those books that you talked about in your last FlossTube. So that is also on my radar. I will get to that as soon as I can. I don't know what I'll do first. I don't know if I'll do the book flip through or if I'll do the kitted up parade, but those are coming. I will definitely do those for you guys. So have no fear. I heard you. I heard you. I will get those figured into my life here sometime in February, maybe even March, depending on what comes down the pike at me. So let's see, kitted up. The other thing that I was going to do, it's on my list, is print out the cover sheet for the Tulip Garden sampler that I was talking about maybe 2 floss tubes ago. Still on my radar. I will get to that, and then I can show you the flosses up against the beautiful fabric that I got from Cedar River Linens by Jody, who is Trixie Tricycle. If you haven't seen her beautiful linens, head to her website. Do not stop at go. Do not collect $200. Her linen is really, really pretty. A couple of things that I am going to start this month. One of them is a piece for my dad. And I know that I talked about this before. I'm having linen troubles, friends. I'm having linen troubles. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I have purchased this linen for a sampler, for my dad. And it's not really a sampler, but for a piece for my dad. It is a lighthouse. And the problem I'm having is I cannot get all of, if you can see it, all of the lines ironed out of the fabric. I have I've contacted the dyer. She suggested that I iron it with starch, with spray starch, which I have done. I'm hesitant to get it too wet, but I have lightly misted it. I've ironed it 3 times, and those lines are still there. So what I'm trying to decide is if I care. Honestly, that's where I'm at. Will I see those lines every single time I look at this, or once I get the lighthouse stitched on it, will that just fade away? What do you think? Should I just go for it? Should I just stop being so doggone fussy and just stitch on it? Or should I get another piece? What do you think? I'm seriously asking you, what do you think? What would you do if this was you? I'm kind of thinking of just going for it. The other thing that I thought I would do, and again, your advice is welcome. I usually stitch in hand, and I'm thinking that maybe if I put this on a scroll rod, so it's kind of, it's kind of taut, that maybe that will kind of stretch it, and it'll go, and some of them will go away. Like this one right here, I don't think that one's going anywhere. And the reason I think that is it seems almost like there's no dye there. Like maybe it was folded too soon after it was dyed. I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a dyer. I'm never going to do that. You know, hands off to those of you that do it. So I'm just thinking that maybe when I get the lighthouse, you know, and the clouds and all that stuff and the island that it's sitting on in here, maybe I won't see it and it's not as big of a deal, because the linen is actually is stopping me from starting that piece for my father. So, and I really think that I need to get working on that like yesterday. So what I'm thinking is stitching it on a scroll frame and hoping that the linen being under tension, it will kind of stretch those lines out. And then if I don't stitch it in hand, I'm not putting more wrinkles in the fabric, and so maybe it will be okay. So let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. If I'm just, A, am I being ridiculous and I just need to start stitching? B, yes, put it on scroll frames and start stitching. Or C, get another piece of linen and, you know, try again. Let me know what you think. I'm curious. Okay, so that is one thing that I want to start in February. And then the other thing that I'm going to start in February is I am jumping on the sale that Helen D has got going with Carla at Cobweb Corner. So I am going to stitch the Strawberry Fair. So I picked up the chart and I picked up the a few of the fancy flosses, and then the rest I'm going to do in DMC. And so that is going to be my Valentine's Day, February 14th start. And I'm sure there's a hashtag, although I can't recall it off the top of my head, but go watch Helen. She'll have all the details for us. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to keep stitching on my 25/7. I'm going to stitch on Cardinal Points. Oh, and my other WIPGO call for February is Harbor Haven. So I will take a starting picture of where I'm at and then show you my progress. And then I've got 2 planned starts in February, and I'm hoping to get a few more things FFO'd. I have finished, but not FFO'd, the Redbird sampler. So that is on, I mean, it's like sitting right here, right next to me. I ironed that at the same time I was trying to iron that other linen. So that is all ironed and prepped, and I'm gonna get that framed. That one's definitely gonna be framed. So that's another FFO I want to work on here in the next couple of weeks. So that's it for me, you guys. I hope you have a great day. I hope you find time to stitch and relax with your stitching. Have a fantastic week. I will try to get back here with you in a week or so. Let's hope a week, right? Let's hope. And then stitch happy. Just do what makes you happy. Stitch happy, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye friends.